In this video, I'll be covering basic strategies on how to play the game and to help people who are stuck in some cases where they have no idea whether to dodge, jab, or do anything else when fighting another opponent because they just seem almost impossible to attack. Now, to get the video started, we'll start with the basic common problems and solutions. Mhm. So, number one, if you don't know what to do in general, such as when you're going against those freedom fighters that just constantly spam the ever living of the R button, and then immediately switching styles, and they somehow know the next thing you're doing. You kind of just want to hit slowly because one, it's great at rage baiting, and two, it allows you to get some time to think. Next would be dancing on the edge. When an opponent is dancing on the edge for someone like Hitman, it gets frustrating because you can't really dodge, and at the same time you also can't attack. So the best way to approach this would be to uh, sort of bait them into attacking you, whether it's walking backwards with your shield up, pretending that you are afraid in any way, provoking them to punch, or it's running headfirst towards them, making sure that they can't utilize range in any way. Next would be the hard to dodge jabs. So when you're fighting someone and you have a problem that you encounter over and over again where they constantly dodge your jabs, you could simply just do a simple step in and step out. These would make these paranoid people uh, throw their early jab, which gives you an opportunity to actually punch them back. Next would be people who run away. We've all encountered these people. They're really freaking annoying. Things like long guard, hands low, the usual hitman. You could actually use the ring to your advantage, depending on where you are. So let's say there's a ring right around here. This is the ring. And if you're chasing a person and you're at the center of the ring, they would typically back up, right? And then they'd be close to the corner, right around here. If you're over here, uh, going forward would allow them to circle around, which allows them for more space to run away, which is not something you want to do. Instead, it's actually better to go sideways to catch where they're moving and then slowly inch your way forward, allowing you to actually reach them and well go haywire. All right, so the next thing I actually want to cover is tactics, because these are things that I feel like people don't really talk about, but some people run into some serious trouble and you start crashing out and trying to figure out what the next move is. Now, for tactics, that's pretty interesting that me personally would find pretty useful, but you don't often see, or yeah, gun trick sword. If you don't know what it is already, it's an emote inside the game where you could press 2 and quickly use it. And essentially what this is, it's like a snap, a quick snap that is really great for things against people who are extremely on edge or just dodge a lot. Uh, which it does catch a lot of people pretty quickly and easily, which is pretty nice, really. And next up on the list would be hit someone while they're trying to feint. So when people typically see feints, they're terrified, want to quickly jump on instinct most of the time. But honestly, just throw a punch and then it just cancels the feint, which is great. But sometimes people would notice, and so they will dodge and all on that. So you reach into a sort of confrontation where both people are just sitting there staring at each other, and it's just sometimes it's good to dodge when they're about to faint. So you gotta wait. Just gotta just honestly plan your reaction time. Next, um, whatever is working, you could just keep doing it. Self-explanatory, whether it's using the same moves over and over again, or they keep falling for the same tactic. It's pretty standard to use because it's a rinse and repeat cycle, and people typically follow a strict pattern in the footage that I'll show after. Lastly, would be copying the other person. This is really situational, rarely used, because the fighting styles typically affect the way you play the game, and is also, well, you're copying someone else, so it's not perfect. The other person knows about what they're doing more than you, but when doing so, it also gets you into the same mindset, and possibly allows you to learn their patterns or tactics that made it so effective against you. And then last, we're going to go into the psychology aspect. There's something you typically hear when it comes to things like long guard, counter, or hand slow when it comes to passive and aggressive when it comes to things like slugger and hawk and all that. But realistically speaking, this could just be used for any fighting style, and it's really good depending on the situation. For example, when people constantly pressure you, the best thing to do is just to walk backwards because all they want to do is punch. Then let them punch. If they want to run away, let them run away. All you have to do is just track them and follow them. And it's honestly like people could switch up during the battle, so it's kind of hard to explain. But when a person throws a lot of jabs, it gets pretty obvious when you should start trying to perfect dodge, and then when you should start countering. Or if someone's dodging a lot, the gun trick sort of throwing feints. And the last part is just kind of annoying. And I feel like that's pretty simple. So let's now actually get into the actual footage so I can explain some examples. So as you can see, this guy, he's looking for perfect dodges. You can see how careful he's playing. Try to jab. I also have my habits, my patterns get obvious when you see them, but once I recognize his patterns, I'll focus on taking advantage of that. He's gonna dodge, and I basically try to stick in as much feints as I can. And then I would also sometimes throw in some jabs. See that? I caught his feint. Start to see a noticeable pattern where if he tries to jab me, I would dodge, and then when I dodge, he would also try to dodge after me, and then I would use that opportunity to throw in a feint heavy. And then you could just see that pattern happening over and over again. I'd take advantage of that. Yeah, so sometimes when you throw in heavy, people could do either two things where they dodge or they try to jab. And that's where the heavy and then jab comes in. Or you could just perfect dodge their jab. It's- I would have pointed out some of the obvious things like watching your energy and health bar, as well as waiting for split seconds, but I feel like those are pretty obvious. But yeah, recognizing patterns. He's always falling for those feints. I mean, I do too, but now for the next one, I actually lose this time. But this a good example of the step in, step out. He's using bullet. He's trying to take advantage of his quick jabs, but you could see why it doesn't help, except for when he feints. That was an exception. But overall, he backs he backs up. As he throws punches at me, I'm kind of testing the waters a bit, seeing what he does. When you run into a situation where you're beating them around a corner, it's actually a really great opportunity because um it just does a lot of damage. But we'll get there. For this guy though, I noticed that he in long ranges he plays pretty passively, but in close range he does play more aggressively. So he tends to throw a lot of jabs and heavies rather than dodging. But at far range he does dodge a lot. Yeah, the step in, step out. Do it again. Pause for it easy. It's constantly pre-firing, so this is what I mentioned about the awkward face to face. You don't know whether or not you should jab because you're scared of them perfect dodging, or you also don't know if they're gonna feint. So sometimes it's best to just rely on your reaction time. These are just some examples. It's honestly easier to watch than to actually just hear word by word. So there you go, step in, gun trick sword. It doesn't work twice though, so or just gotta do it at the right situation. Step in, step out. Yeah. Just for some reason everyone has a pattern, and if you know what it is, you can just take advantage of it. Gotta point that out again. Just emphasizing how important that is. The best part about gun trick sword though is that it also takes like no energy. Yeah, you could see that he's more aggressive, so gun trick sword or any sword feints won't really work up close with him well. The best thing to do in those types of situations is just perfect dodge fishing. But anyways, yeah, he falls for that thing again. And the thing about backing up though is that it's actually pretty good against when a person's trying to be aggressive. And you notice him use that against me earlier. When he steps back, I kind of just throw an air jab and he could just get me back right there. It's good when you're almost out of energy. So you just kind of take a couple steps back, they throw an air punch and you can just get them right back. You see, he's kind of learning a bit though. He's using feints to reach me at a far distance, but they're not doing a lot. And this sort of situation gets awkward because both people have their ultimates. That's also something you have to take track of, and one perfect dodge can end the whole game. That's why things can get a little wonky. But anyways, yeah, that's the video. Definitely gonna improve over time, but right now I ain't really giving much. So yeah.